Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Hi, I'm State Senator George Logan, and you are tuned into the Senate Reports. I want to wish all the viewers, everyone watching, a happy Thanksgiving on this Thanksgiving week. Due to work and legislative commitments, I haven't been on the air for a few weeks now. But here I am back on the Senate Reports, and what I want to do is give you all an update in terms of the month of November, which has been a very busy month. Been involved in a lot of different events and activities, legislative responsibilities, and now Thanksgiving, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a great time for family and friends to get together and to reconnect. In this show, I want to again talk about what I've been up to. I've met some really interesting folks since the last time I've been on the air, and I've been to some very interesting events. One particular ceremony that I attended a little over a week ago has to do with some young Republicans. I attended the swearing-in ceremony for a pair of 20-year-old friends who may have just become the youngest Black Republicans ever elected to public office in Connecticut. They're both actually still in school, in higher education, in college. Their names are Ed Ford Jr. and Tyrell Brown, a pair of young Black men elected to office in Middletown, Connecticut. These two fellows have been friends since middle school, so they go way back. On election day, Ford won a seat on the Middletown School Board. So Ed Ford Jr. is now on the Middletown School Board, helping to make decisions that affect their community and all the children that go to school in Middletown. And then Tyrell Brown, he was elected to the Middletown Planning and Zoning Commission. Again, Tyrell Brown, congratulations, being elected to the Middletown Planning and Zoning Commission, which is a very powerful commission in any town. Has lots of very important responsibilities in terms of obviously planning and approving various permits for new developments and for buildings. And here we have Mr. Brown, Tyrell, at the table at such a young age, 20 years old, helping and making a difference in his community and bringing his experience and his background into government, into town government, which I think is wonderful, is great. We need more young people willing to stick their neck out, put their foot forward, and to get involved in their community and in their local government. Ed Ford is a psychology major at Central Connecticut State University. Tyrell Brown is a business major at Southern Connecticut State University. I see a long and wonderful and prosperous future for the both of them, both in their professional career endeavors and also as community leaders in the state of Connecticut. So I congratulate them. They are an inspiration to many, and I plan on having them as guests on future episodes right here on the Senate Reports. One particular aspect of these two fellows running for office, one at such a young age, being of African American, running for office as Republicans. I love the fact that these two gentlemen do not let anyone put them in a box in terms of what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, how they should be thinking, what organizations they should join. These are two independent thinking individuals who are focused on terms of self-determination, working hard, and I think those are just great examples, and they're great role models for other young people, regardless of background and ethnicity. These young folks are really a great asset to Middletown and to the state of Connecticut. Now, on other matters, other items, I'm going to jump over to Ansonia, my hometown. I visited the Charter Hose Company number 4 in Ansonia over the weekend for their Past Captain and Old Timers Night. Congratulations to all the honorees at the Charter Hose Company number 4 in Ansonia. I love going to these events. I brought some citations from the state of Connecticut. And we have folks that have served as volunteers, firefighters, protecting our citizens in Ansonia, risking their lives, sacrificing their time that they could be spending with their family, and really just helping to keep the community safe. And I've met folks who have been volunteer firefighters for 20, 30, some even 50 years. Incredibly impressive, their dedication. Also, just yesterday, I went to Assumption School in Ansonia, and I read to 4th and 5th graders. I read to their Spanish class. I read a book on Jack and the Beanstalk and the Ugly Duckling as well. It was a wonderful time to meet with the students and see the energy that they have. And they had lots of questions about what I do as a state senator, and I was able to provide them with some information and spark their interest for a while. And it was, I think, just excellent. And I plan on doing more, reaching out and going into classrooms, into schools. I love doing that. I've done that for even prior to being in public office as your state senator. And I would encourage any of the 7 district towns that I represent, Ansonia, Derby, Woodbridge, Hamden, Bethany, Beacon Falls, Naugatuck. Feel free to contact me at www.senatorgeorgelogan.com. Invite me to your school, invite me to your classroom. I'd love to talk to students at any time during the year. I also was in Naugatuck quite a bit since my last time here on the Senate Reports. Over in Naugatuck, I visited the Girl Scout Troop 64555. These Girl Scouts, they were actually outside of a school selling Girl Scout cookies, which I love. So I bought some Girl Scout cookies and had a good conversation with those folks. Again, those girls doing great things. Again, also role models to other girls in their community. I also met up in Naugatuck with Naugatuck's mayor, Pete Hess, and their newly elected deputy mayor, Lori Taft Jackson. This past weekend, they had a custom car, truck, and motorcycle show at the Naugatuck Entertainment Center. So I went by there and saw some wonderful people, antique cars. I actually got to sit on a real fancy motorcycle. If you go on my social media on Facebook, you'll probably see a picture of me sitting on the motorcycle. Or you can go to my website at www.senatorgeorgelogan.com. So I had a good time there with Mayor Hess in Naugatuck. I also watched some great family fun and art activities at this weekend's Naugatuck Partnership for Children event. Naugatuck Partnership for Children event, which was a wonderful event. There were a number of lots of students and teachers and parents all coming together doing different arts and crafts. Kids have had their faces painted, and parents are made aware in terms of what's available in terms of programs for young children, which I think which is wonderful. It's wonderful to get information out to the community and make sure that folks in our community understand what programs are out there, especially for children. It's good to keep children active and busy while they're in school, but also outside of school as well. I was also in Hamden. Hamden, I celebrated adoptive families and shed light on foster care and adoption needs in Connecticut. Anyone interested in adoption should call 888-KID-HERO. That's 888-KID-HERO. Or visit ConnecticutFosterAdopt.com. So that's CTFosterAdopt.com to be connected to knowledgeable professionals who will provide guidance if you're interested in foster care or adoption. I also attended the grand opening of the Clifford Beers Marne Street Clinic in Hamden. The clinic offers comfort, community, and consistency to promote social inclusion for children and adults with disabilities. Previously, they were located in New Haven, and now I have a wonderful newly renovated facility in Hamden at the Clifford Beers Marne, M-A-R-N-E, Street Clinic. I also visited AM 960 and AM 1410, hosted by Vinnie Penn and his crew. They're at the Hamden Plaza for the annual Stuff a Bus event, which collects food and funds for Connecticut Food Bank to help the needy. And this, I believe, is their 20th year of doing this. So every year for the last 20 years, they've been out there collecting food for the Connecticut Food Bank. This was my second year participating in the event. Wonderful event, and Vinnie Penn and your crew and your staff keep up the good work. I also attended the Big Connects official show opening at the Oakdale, sponsored by the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce and the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce. And I met many Hamden officials there. The Big Connect is an event where we bring in folks from different organizations, different businesses throughout the Greater New Haven area to come together for folks to come down and see what services are provided by local businesses, for those local businesses to network with each other, and really to help each other as a business community to grow and prosper. Because we all know that we need to have a healthy economy in Connecticut. We need our businesses to be healthy, and we need to do all we can to support our businesses, small, medium, and large businesses here in Connecticut. And again, my name is Senator George Logan. You are tuned into the Senate Reports, and I'll be back in just a few moments. Hi, welcome back. I'm State Senator George Logan, and you are tuned into the Senate Reports. Again, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving week. It's a great time to connect and reconnect with family and friends. I am here today to give you all an update in terms of what I've been up to since the last time we had our Senate report. My activities, particularly in November of this 2017. A couple weeks back, earlier in November, we had a Veterans Day and Veterans Day weekend, and I participated in a number of Veterans Day program. You know, it's so important for us to recognize and thank and those individuals who have served our country, you know, sacrificed the time, put their lives at risk so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy every day. And it's very important that we never take those liberties and freedoms and privileges that we enjoy for granted. And our veterans, our folks that are in the armed services, play a huge, huge role. And so I'm always pleased and anxious, and it's a pleasure to be involved in veterans activities and to support our veterans. I also serve on the Veterans Affairs Committee at the state legislature because, again, veterans and the job that the sacrifices that they have made and their families have made for us, citizens of the United States of America, I think is invaluable. So I was at Beacon Falls, and it was an honor to participate in the town's Veterans Day ceremony. There were great participation. A lot of folks, were out there, and it was just great to be a part of that. We have a very active veterans community in the state of Connecticut, and certainly in the senatorial district that I serve as well. I also met up in Hamden with the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 10321. Again, the Hamden Veterans of Foreign Wars 10321. And I was joined at that event with the Hamden Mayor, Kurt Lang, and also U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal was at the event. We met a number of, lots of folks there. They had some great food. It was a wonderful time. And I also spoke and, again, thanked all of our veterans, in this particular case, Veterans of Foreign Wars, for all they have done for me, my family, and everyone living in Connecticut and for the United States of America. I also participated in Naugatuck's 2017 Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony. So Naugatuck has a very good Veterans Day program. They actually had a parade on Veterans Day, and there was a service in one of the local churches that I, again, participated in, gave a speech to the group, and again, just doing everything possible to help to support our veterans. There was a keynote speaker that spoke of Mission 22, which is an organization, a program to help veterans who have come back from wars and maybe suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, may be feeling tendencies of suicide. And this Mission 22 provides services, much needed and valuable services to help those folks out that may need counseling. Again, great program, a great event that I participated in Naugatuck. Also, Derby. Derby had a Veterans Day ceremony. I participated in that as well. Gave a speech there as well. And the gist, the focus of that speech overall was that, when we're out and about, whether it's Veterans Day weekend or any other day of the year, if you see someone who is a veteran, they may have a veteran's hat on or apparel. One of the biggest things that we can do, and I've done this many times, and I'm telling you, try it. It works. All you have to do is say, thank you for your service to our country. And it means a lot to veterans. It signifies to them that you recognize the sacrifice and the service that they have made for each of us and our families in this country. and I think they should be thanked. A thank you to veterans goes a long way. And then we can follow up with that with actions and, in terms of supporting programs and services that help our veterans. So I think that's very important. Now I'd like to move over to talk about business and the business environment. Been very busy over the last month or so as well. Do you know that Connecticut women-owned businesses grew by 56% over the last 2 decades, according to a new report released just this week? Grew by 56%, women-owned businesses. But there is work to do, because when we look at Connecticut, the 2017 State of Women-Owned Businesses report ranked Connecticut 43rd in the country for overall growth in women-owned firms over that period. So although nationwide, women-owned businesses grew by 56%, and we had some growth in Connecticut as well, which is a good thing, but not good enough. 43rd in the country out of 50 states, we can do better than that. Businesses seek stability and predictability. Business people seek stability and predictability. So we need to make sure that as lawmakers and legislators that we do more to make sure that we set Connecticut in the right path, a different path than the one we've been in over the last, particularly several years. We need folks to know in the business community that we get it. We know how important it is for businesses in Connecticut to strive. They're the ones that are hiring people, and I'm talking about those small mom and pop businesses. I'm talking about medium-sized businesses, as well as the large companies. But most of the people in Connecticut are employed by small and medium-sized companies. So we need them to thrive. And when those businesses are worried about when the next, looking over their shoulder for when the next tax increase is coming, or when the next regulation is going to come down on their heads, many companies are planning on how they can leave the state. And when companies leave the state, jobs leave the state. And when people leave the state, we have less people behind to actually pay taxes. So the rest of us that are here have to shoulder more of that tax burden. It's important that we keep a healthy business community here in Connecticut. We need to be able to keep companies that we have here to stay in Connecticut, and we need to work towards attracting new businesses to Connecticut as well. The new bipartisan budget that was recently passed by the Senate and the House and was approved by the governor contains some provisions that will reform financial practices at the state and local levels. Again, that I think will help the overall financial health of the state and our business, including our business community. These provisions, these reforms that were part of the budget, will provide Connecticut with a more stable and predictable business environment. And here's some examples. More legislative oversight of contracts for unionized state employees. Now, state employees, we have about approximately 45,000 unionized state employees here in Connecticut. And state employees are an important and vital part of the fabric of our state of Connecticut and how our government runs. However, we need to always constantly look at, in terms of the programs and benefits, to make sure that they remain in line with what the rest of folks in Connecticut that are in the private sector have. And it's important that the legislature, moving forward, has the opportunity to look at these union contracts and actually vote on them to make sure that they represent the will of all the people in Connecticut. We need a tougher cap on borrowing. The state borrows money. We bond lots of projects, but guess what? It's not free money. We have to pay back those loans. And right now, our obligations for our bonding and other obligations are crippling the state of Connecticut. We need to be smarter in terms of how we borrow money. So a tougher cap on borrowing is part of this budget, and that's going to help us go in a right direction. We also strengthened the spending cap that's in place, has been in place since 1992, but it never was fully implemented. You know, they passed a law in 92 to have a spending cap. That's where the state is obligated, you know, theoretically not to spend more money than it has. But legislators over the years, and this is on both parties, Republicans and Democratic legislators in the past, have found ways around this spending cap, where the state has consistently over the last 20 or plus years spent more money than we actually have, and it's put us in a pickle. But so with this budget, we actually strengthen and more fully implement this spending cap. Also, local governments, with this bipartisan budget that was recently passed, local governments will have more flexibility in setting education budgets. In the past, municipalities have complained, and rightfully so, that they were constricted in terms of how they could manage their budgets for their local municipalities. So we've given them more flexibility with this budget. We have a more taxpayer-friendly prevailing wage and arbitration policies in the state budget. Businesses are finding it hard and couldn't afford to do business in Connecticut. And so making these adjustments to the prevailing wage standards, one that's been long overdue. It's been over, I think, something like 30 years since we made changes to the prevailing wage requirements in Connecticut. So we had the courage to make those changes now, again, to put Connecticut in the right direction. Also, this bipartisan budget has no additional sales tax. We pay enough in sales tax. No additional income tax. We all know for sure we are all hurting and stressed, and we don't need to be paying more income tax. So this budget does not increase income taxes. It doesn't include any additional cell phone tax. Can you imagine there were some folks in the legislature that wanted to add more taxes to cell phones that everyone uses and relies on? Also, there's no additional restaurant tax that was floated out there as a proposal, and no additional home heating oil tax. Also, another idea that was out there by some legislators to raise revenues. And the establishment of a business-friendly environment is absolutely necessary if Connecticut is to reverse the anemic economic trend of recent years. We need to go in a different path. We need to make things a lot better in Connecticut than they are now, particularly for businesses and for working families. Extremely important. We need people working. We need people to be able to support their families. And a high priority for me. The new budget is a step in the right direction, but we certainly have more work to do. This budget is an incremental step in the right direction. More needs to be done. Please feel free to contact me at george.logan@cga.ct.gov. That's my email, george.logan@cga.ct.gov. You can call me at 800-842-1421. And you can send me your thoughts and ideas on how to improve our business environment. Again, my name is George Logan, Senator George Logan. This is the Senate Reports, and I'll be back again shortly.
Transformations Med Spa and Fitness in Windsor, Connecticut. Nurse practitioner Raquel Rowe and the amazing staff will transform your body, mind, and soul to make you look and feel your best. They specialize in laser hair removal for any skin type using top-of-the-line FDA-approved lasers. Open Monday through Saturday by appointment only. So call now at 860-217-0764. 860-217-0764. To learn more about all their unbeatable promotions and specials, go to Facebook and become a friend. Make sure to follow them on Instagram.
Gotta have fun. Let your hair loose. And let the summer loving through. Yeah. Let the sun shine. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Round and round we go. Someone love is here to stay. Round and round we go. Someone love is here to stay. Round and round we go. Someone love is here to stay. Round and round we go. Someone love is here to stay.
Hi, welcome back. Again, I'm State Senator George Logan. You are tuned into the Senate Reports. I want to again wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving week. Again, this is a time for families to get together and catch up with families, friends. I'm certainly looking forward to a Thanksgiving Day as well. In this segment of the show, I'm going to cover a few other topics. One of them being a pretty serious topic, but domestic violence, and particularly domestic violence prevention. You know, on that vein, in Ansonia, our police chief in Ansonia, Chief Kevin Hale, he has shown tremendous leadership in domestic violence prevention. Do you know that Connecticut is the first state to implement a domestic violence lethality assessment tool? What does that do? Well, that allows law enforcement to identify individuals who have an increased risk of fatal violence. So again, this assessment tool helps law enforcement to identify individuals who have an increased risk of fatal violence. The assessment tool, first piloted in Ansonia, Connecticut, allows an officer within minutes to determine with a series of 11 questions if a victim is in danger. The law enforcement officer will put them on the phone with a service provider at the scene. So based on these 11 questions, if the officer determines that the victim is in danger, the law enforcement officer will put them right there at the scene with a service provider to get that victim the help that they need. The program was instituted statewide in Connecticut, and this was without a mandate and without any state funding. This is what you call smart government, right? We have something that makes sense. It was piloted out at a local level and adopted statewide. And I think this is wonderful. Just goes to show you, what we have in terms of our law enforcement here in Connecticut. Community-based, trying to do everything possible to keep us safe and to help to maintain the lives and freedoms that we have right here in Connecticut, in our communities. So again, Police Chief, Ansonia Police Chief Kevin Hale, thank you for presenting that program and making it and implementing it and making it work. Also, on children, on another note, children. The state of Connecticut has a program called Care for Kids program. And that program has been reopened. So I'm glad to say the Care for Kids program has been reopened with this new budget, and eligible families on the wait list can now begin to enroll for the state's primary child care support. So that's wonderful, Care for Kids. This is welcome news for thousands of working families throughout the state of Connecticut. Care for Kids is a quality program which provides a safe setting for children while their parents are at work. Additional information for Care for Kids and the Care for Kids program can be found by visiting www.ctcareforkids, that's www.ctcare4, the number 4, kids.com. Or you can call 1-888-214-5437. That's Care for Kids at 1-888-214-5437. 5437. The Care for Kids program is a wonderful program. So Thanksgiving. We're here in Thanksgiving week. We're thankful for many things. I'm thankful for the family that I have, my parents, the community that supports me and helps me in terms of try to be the best legislator that I can possibly be. I thank my church, my pastor, Father Sullivan. You know, Thanksgiving is a time to be reflective and think about all of those. And I can go on for another half hour for thanking folks, thanking veterans, thanking my father who has passed away for the life and what he has instilled in me. But Thanksgiving is a time for family, for friends. And I'm also thankful for this program that allows me to connect and communicate with so many folks throughout the state of Connecticut. I am thankful to be your voice in Hartford. I'm thankful for this audience. Your voice matters. You know, your voice is what gives me the inspiration to do this every day and on a regular basis. I love to hear what's on people's minds, what's important to folks, what are the folks' priorities in the community, and try to make sure that I bring that to Hartford and that we either change existing laws or enact new laws to make sure that the will of the people is being heard here in Hartford. And you too can help me make a difference by contacting me on a regular basis. If you haven't contacted me before, please feel free to do so now. You can contact me by way of going to my website, www.senatorgeorgelogan.com, or you can call me, or you can email me. So there are a number of ways that you can get a hold of me. I'm looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Now, on Thanksgiving Day, in addition to going to, actually I'm going to a couple different Thanksgiving Day dinners, I will be also attending some Thanksgiving Day football games. I will be at the Ansonia-Naugatuck game, and I'm also going to try to make it to the Hamden Notre Dame game. So I'm going to be running around a bit Thanksgiving morning, getting to these football games. But take a look, see if you can, if you can spot me. Feel free to come up to me and say hi. But I will be at the again the Ansonia-Naugatuck Thanksgiving Day game. I'll be on both sides of the field, so feel free to look for me. And again, I'll be at the Hamden High School game as well. So again, this is State Senator George Logan. You are tuned into the Senate Reports. Have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving week, and I look forward to our next program.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I do business as Lightsource Productions. I provide professional services in the area of strategic video communications. First, what we do is we help you craft your message using what I call the rule of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We do event documentation, content acquisition, full-scale productions, editing, and of course distribution through our social media television network. And with social media, video is more important now than it has ever been. Whether you're talking big business, small business, nonprofit, church, or just an individual. Let's say you plan you're planning an event, a wedding, whatever the case may be, but let's say a big event, but no video. And you spent all this time, all these hours to put this event on, and maybe 100, 200 people attend the event. But more important than that is that thousands could attend by watching it on social media. But of course, you don't think about this until after the event is over. You can't afford not to capture it for social media. And despite what people think, I am affordable. Give me a call. Let's plan your next video project and share it with the world on my social media television network. I promise you that you will have the attention of one person, me.